Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband is Paul. We're so happy you have joined us. Today's video, we're going to show you even more ways to live below your means and save money. And what we're going to do is give you real life examples of some of these questions that we come up against when we are tempted to spend money. Do I have this item already? If I don't have it, can I use something else instead? If I really do need to buy it, then I better shop around and find the best price. And how to make those ideas all come together in a practical and realistic way. So the first thing we're going to start with is Paul, because he had some really great savings this past week or so. Because our garden looked like it was doing so well, but we'll let Paul show you what he did and why he needed to do it.
The summer container garden is doing great. Everything is in bloom. Everything is going wonderful. Wait a minute. Oh no. Yep. We had a groundhog come down the other day. We saw it on our camera. Chewed the leaves here, it chewed the leaves there. That's it. So I had to build a fence. What I did was I took some cinder blocks that I have in storage. I was able to pinch them between chicken wire. Ran the chicken wire along the edge here. I put some supports in. There's a small plastic pipe in the top, which I wove through the fence. That holds it up straight. I made this little wood device and some metal brackets just to hold it up so it wouldn't fall. And I did this all the way down. Another cinder block went around the corner of the deck to the house. So this will hopefully deter this little guy from coming back, because thank goodness he only did it to one plant, and the plant's very healthy. Now what was good is we did have a garden down on the lower portion of our property that we stopped using because the ground just did not have enough good soil. And it probably would have cost us quite a bit of money to truck in a yard, maybe a yard and a half of soil. So I abandoned that garden. So I reused the fence. Anyway, this will hopefully keep the little guy out.
So in that instance, we lived below our means by Paul being creative with what we already had laying around outside in the shed, in our yard. This was just a practical way to save money, keep our container garden from getting eaten completely, and really just save us a bunch of money. His options could have been to run to the hardware store, get a real fence, put it up. Oh my goodness, you know how much that would have cost? But instead he said, what can I use? How can I do this? And now it's safe, secure, and that groundhog has not eaten one plant. So obviously it worked. Now we're going to share some more frugal living below your means tips in our grocery haul. We actually picked up a flash food box and some food from Flash Food. And we also bought a lot of loss leaders from ShopRite as well. And this is a great way to live below your means and save money. We have to buy food. That's not something we can go without. So we need to find the absolute best prices on the food we buy. And I'll explain a little bit more about Flash Food when I show you the box. So let's get to our food haul. Here's our ShopRite haul, and we're also going to share our Flash Food haul with you as well. First thing I got was a head of romaine lettuce, $1.99 a head. So I always grab the biggest because it's not by pound, it's by head. So that's great. I did need just regular salt for like my baking, and I emptied it into my mason jar before I showed you, but it was just regular salt. We don't use this kind of salt except if I'm baking or making bread. Then I got a bunch of organic celery. That was $2.49 a bunch. We have a large container of Maxwell House coffee. This is 25 ounce. It was on sale for $5.99 with a digital coupon. That was a great deal. And I know we've shared this with you before. We get the darkest roast you can. By getting the stronger coffee, you can use a little bit less and it tastes just as good. The avocados were 4 for $3. I got a cucumber for 66 cents. I got 3 bananas. Now we still have watermelon, so I'm not going to overbuy on fruit right now because I don't want it to go to waste. This hurts. A pound of butter was $4.49. What is the price of butter in your area? This was the cheapest, $4.49. That is just so expensive to me. I did get some Fage sour cream. Everything is sweating because it's so warm. This was $1.99. I got a big container of the no salt added cottage cheese. I've been eating this for lunch with crackers and fruit. It's just wonderful. I was completely out of onion powder. The Wholesome Pantry organic onion powder was $2.49. This was a treat. The whole fruit bars were on sale for $2.99. I had a $1 manufacturer's coupon, so $1.99 for 6 bars. These are just fun and refreshing. I know so many of us are in a heat wave, and something like this in the evening is really refreshing. Okay, now let's see what we got for our flash food haul. Here is our flash food haul. I will link a video underneath to explain in depth what flash food is. And again, this is not a sponsored video. We got barley-shaped egg noodles. I thought this sounded really great for soup and stuff. This was like 94 cents a package. And then we got some pearl barley, and that was under $1 too. I think this was 95 cents. So we got both of those. Then for $5, here is our produce box. We'll unpack it and lay it out for you. So this is what was in our box. We just weighed the peppers. They were a little over 3 pounds. Then we weighed the tomatoes, and they were just a little under 3 pounds. So this is 6 pounds of peppers and tomatoes for $5. That's less than $1 a pound, and they are in beautiful, beautiful condition. Flash foods are just foods that you are actually saving from the dumpster. It's foods that may be a little past their prime that they sell at a discounted rate. So that was a great little food haul, and we definitely did not overspend. If you're interested in learning more about the Flash Food app, I will link a video down below in the description box on how it works. It's a completely free app, and no, we are not sponsored in any way by the company. It's just something we use and we want to share with you because it does save us a tremendous amount of money, and more stores are accepting Flash Food. So always check the app to see if any stores in your area are now participating. Another way to live below our means, as we stated earlier, is to use what you have to save money. So many times you all are encouraging me to use my Instant Pot, and I just never think to use it. I'm not comfortable with it. It scares me a little bit, but I'll tell you what, when you find a recipe that works in it, it works. So today we are going to make one of Paul's absolute favorite vegetables. In the Instapot, we're going to be saving money because this vegetable takes a long time when you do it on a stovetop. But in the Instapot, it's barely any time, uses less electricity. Let's get into the kitchen. We are making Paul's absolute favorite vegetable, and that is some collard greens. And we're going to use our Instapot. You're always encouraging me to use it, and today we're going to do exactly that. We are not Southern, nor do we pretend to be. We do love some good Southern collards. And if this is not the way you make it personally, just be kind, okay? Hit the saute button on our Instapot. In the pot, we have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, you could use whatever kind of oil you want. I'm going to add 2 pieces of cut up bacon. And we are just going to saute that bacon in the olive oil. The original recipe called for 4 ounces of country ham. And those of you in the South know that's like a really salty ham. We don't have any here. I could have used regular ham, but I think the bacon is going to be fine for us. So we're just going to saute this for a few minutes. So I sauteed the bacon for about 4 minutes, and I just keep turning it. Right here, I have 1 small onion that we chopped, and I'm going to add that as well. Again, we're going to keep moving it around, sauteing it until those onions become translucent. So we cooked these, stirring pretty much constantly for about another 3 minutes. And the bottom of the pan, though, has got a nice glaze on it. So we're going to need to deglaze that. Here I have about 3/4 of a cup of my homemade chicken stock. And I'm just going to add about half of it very carefully because it is going to smoke and it might splatter. So do it very carefully. And I'm just taking the pan and scraping the bottom. It is deglazing beautifully. I hope you can see this through the steam. Once it's deglazed, I'm going to add the rest of my broth. Give that a good mix. This is where I halted a little bit. The original recipe, which I will link down below, called for a 1/3 cup of vinegar. I have to be honest, that made me a little nervous. That seems like an awful lot of vinegar. So I am going to do 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar instead of the 1/3 cup. That just seemed like an awful lot for our tastes. And then it called for 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, but I'm only going to use 1. And I'm also going to add a little bit of hot red pepper. Not too much for our taste. Give this a good mix. Here we have a pound of collard greens. They're in chopped pieces and the big thick stems in between have been removed. This is the stem that runs through the leaves. You want to get that out. That is really tough, and when you clean them, make sure you have none of that in it. These are all washed and ready to go. Now I am going to add our greens. Carefully, slowly. We're still on the saute function. And what I'm going to do as we go is just let these cook down a little bit so I am not overstuffing the Instapot, because then you'll get a burn notice. So I add a little more. Now you want to be very careful because this pot is very hot. Just let them cook down a little bit as we continue to add the pound of greens. The greens are in and they've cooked down just a little bit. I'm going to go here and I'm going to hit cancel because we want to get that saute function off. We're going to lock our lid and make sure that the steam release is off. Always make sure that's off. I'm afraid of my Instapot. I've told you this 100 times. Now we hit pressure cook right there. We've got normal pressure. We're going to bring this down to 5 minutes. And that is what we're going to leave it at. And we are going to do a natural release. Here we go. It's been 22 minutes and the natural release has ended and the little pin has dropped. Now carefully take the top off. There will be steam coming off slowly and easy. And keep the lid over the food because there's going to be water coming off, as you can see. Now remember, this is very hot. We're going to give it a turn. Oh, it smells amazing. We're going to let it cool a minute. We're going to dish these up. Then Paul's going to give it a taste and he'll let us know what he thinks about our Instapot collard greens.
Well, here we are. We're going to try the Instapot collard greens. This smells fantastic. Let's try it out. The greens, it has that classic collard green taste. The vinegar gives it that little bit of a, I don't know, a heightened sense in the back of your tongue. The bacon is smoky. Yeah, this is it. This is it. The only thing I'm going to say is maybe when you're cooking these in your Instapot, give it an extra 2 or 3 minutes of cook time to get them a little softer. But these are still soft enough. They're delicious. Absolutely delicious. So this is definitely Paul approved. Some fried chicken, some baked beans. You got it.
In our last segment, we're going to sit with Paul for a minute, and he's going to show you how we saved a tremendous amount of money by using what we have, using YouTube videos, and just being a little creative. He saved us probably about $400 in a couple of hours. So I am going to let him explain exactly how he did this.
Hey folks, this little code reader that I've showed you before in other videos, this thing came in real handy while we were in South Carolina. I bring this in the car with me so that we can read a code if it happens to pop up, and we did get a code. If you look at this code that I'm going to show you right now, you can see that our evaporative system has a small leak. I was like, wow, what do we do? Is the car going to break down? Do I have to get to a shop? So I went online, did my research, and found out I can get home and take care of this at a later date. When I got home, I did more research on the internet and on YouTube, and it boiled down to this little part right here. This little guy here went bad in the car, and I was able to purchase this device from the manufacturer for about $30. After watching some YouTube videos, it was so easy. I did it myself in the driveway. It's running fine. I saved myself a lot of money. This part was roughly $30 online. The dealer could have probably marked this up another $50, saved myself money on the part, and then to have it done professionally, there would probably be about 2 hours worth of diagnostic to figure out if this is exactly it. I saved myself a lot of money. Now listen, I'm not telling you to change your transmission or work on your own car. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, do not attempt it, because you don't want to cause a bigger problem down the road. But for me, and using YouTube and doing my research, I was able to narrow it down to 2 things: the gas cap and this little guy, who was very simple to fix. There was a little hose on it, a little bolt on it, and a little electrical plug. Came out, went in, perfect. And as always, check with your manufacturer about doing your own work on your car. First thing you want to do is make sure you're safe. Always remove the negative battery terminal off your vehicle and put it in a safe spot, the wire on the battery, negative side. Remove that, this way the car will not move, start, or any kind of a problem while you're working on it. Very important. After everything was put together and started the car, the code went away, the engine runs great, and I saved myself probably about $400. So this was definitely a Paul approved fix, that little guy there.
It's amazing how when you stop for a minute and think of the alternatives to spending money on an everyday basis, wow, you can really financially save a lot. It's just a matter of being creative, thinking, how else can I do this? What can I use instead? Where can I find the best prices? Well, do a little research, shop around, find out. Living a frugal, slow, old-fashioned life is not difficult. If anything, it is super rewarding. It allows you to have freedom when it comes to your finances. Definitely reduces stress and anxiety because you're not always worrying about money, because you're living in a way that allows you to take that extra money you save and put it towards something that is important to you, your priorities. And every frugal journey is different. Today's question of the day: how did you live below your means in the past week? What is something you did that you know you saved money on? You used a little ingenuity, you maybe used something you already had, whatever it is. Share it with us down below, because it not only encourages us, but our viewers as well. We thank you for joining us for this video. We ask that you please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. we would love to have you be part of our channel. Thank you again. We ask that you be well. We ask that you be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you. Oh, but wait a minute, stay tuned. You've all been asking, how is Dixie? Well, Dixie is basically living her best life. Little air conditioning, goes out on the deck for a few minutes. She wanted to get on camera and give a quick cameo. So here's our precious Dixie Belle. So many of you are asking how Dixie is doing. She is great. She's getting another little trim. Can you say hi? No, say, I am doing good. I stay in the air-conditioned living room all day. She loves when we groom her, so it is a blessing. It saves us a lot of money, and she's just such a good girl.